A family hears footsteps in their attic. They search and find nothing. 6 days later, every person on the farm is dead. In 1922, the Hinterkaifeck farm sat alone in the Bavarian countryside, nearly half a mile from its nearest neighbor. Living there were Andreas Gruber, his wife Cecilia, their widowed daughter Victoria, her 2 young children, and a new maid who had arrived that very day. 6 people. One remote farm, no easy way to call for help. Days before the murders, Andreas noticed footprints in the snow leading from the forest to the house. There were no footprints going back. He searched the barn, the shed, the attic. Nothing appeared stolen, but someone had come from the woods and stayed. He mentioned it to neighbors, uneasy but not afraid enough to report it. That decision would matter. Then came the noises, footsteps overhead, dragging sounds, movement at night. Gruber checked the attic more than once. Each time, he found nothing. The previous maid had quit months earlier, claiming the house felt wrong. The new maid arrived on March 31st. She never saw another sunrise. Then small things began to vanish. House keys disappeared. A newspaper appeared inside. One no one in the family remembered buying. Tiny details, easy to dismiss, unless someone already had access to the house. On the evening of March 31st, the farm went quiet. One by one, members of the family were lured into the barn. Investigators later determined they were killed with a mattock, a farming tool kept on the property. 4 bodies were found in the hay. Inside the house, the maid was killed in her bed. The 2-year-old boy was killed in his crib. There were no signs of a struggle outside the barn. It's possible they knew the person who called them out. But the murders weren't discovered the next morning. They weren't discovered the next day either. For several days, smoke rose from the chimney. The animals were fed. Bread was sliced in the kitchen. Someone was still living there, sleeping there, moving through the rooms, stepping over bodies. On April 4th, neighbors grew concerned. The family had missed church. The children hadn't come to school. When they entered the barn, they found 4 bodies under hay. Inside the house were the maid and the child. The killer had stayed long enough to care for the farm, but left before anyone arrived. No one saw them leave. Autopsy reports revealed something deeply disturbing. 7-year-old Cecilia had survived for hours after the attack. Clumps of her hair were found in her hands, likely pulled out in shock and pain as she lay in the dark barn beside her family. No one heard her. Police found the murder weapon hidden on the property. Nothing of value had been stolen. There were no signs of forced entry. The killer knew the farm, knew the layout, knew the family's routines, and may have been inside the house days before the murders began. Listening, waiting. Dozens of suspects were questioned over the years. A former worker, a jealous acquaintance, a neighbor familiar with the land. But early forensic methods were limited. The crime scene had been contaminated by visitors before police secured it. Every lead faded. Every theory fell apart. No arrest was ever made. More than a century later, the Hinterkaifeck murders remain unsolved. All that's left is the silence above an empty field, where someone once walked across a farmhouse attic and was never seen.